We finally found a story that makes the Republicans on Fox Business back off of mixing religion and state together. Typically, the right-wing pundits love that. Typically, the Republican politicians love that. Well, now, they pump the brakes a little bit. I wonder why.
David, let me ask you a question. You see the story this morning in the New York Post? This is a Brooklyn judge. She was sworn in on the Koran. I wonder what it's sort of stirring some controversy on social media this morning. I wonder what your take is on this.
Well, it's unprecedented, and I've not seen the story, so
it's actually
my apologies.
Not unprecedented. In 2006, actually, back in 2006, there was another. There was another judge who was actually here we go. Let me see. In 2006, Minnesota Representative U.S. Keith Ellison also did so. He was sworn in on the Koran. It's creating such controversy online. I wonder what your thoughts are.
Well,
she's a Brooklyn
it
judge.
may not be unprecedented, Maria, but it is certainly rare, and it's not something you're going to find even the slightest minority saying they support here in America. And it'll be interesting to watch the developments on this. I can assure you the next president of the United States will have his hand or her hand on the Bible, not on the Koran.
Yeah, I just wonder what the implications are of this, you guys. Any thoughts here in terms of, what the overriding tenets are if you are sworn in by the Koran? What does that mean in terms of?
It's such a sensitive subject, especially when it comes to it's guiding their higher beliefs and powers that dictate their actions and decisions, right? And swearing on that, especially right now, we know we're at war right now with radical Islam that do believe in the Quran and can actually distort it. So it's so sensitive right now that politicizing this and swearing in a judge, I just think it's not the right time or place for it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with this.
It's not the right time or place for it. I'll make a deal with you guys right now. She can't get sworn in on the Quran. Nobody can get sworn in on the Quran. And nobody can get sworn in on the Bible. You gonna take me up on that? I'll wait. No, they wouldn't do that. And this is what's so frustrating about, the right-wing crowd in general, is that they'll come out swinging. And they're right about this, but they'll, hey, we don't want Sharia law in America. There's less than 1% of the U.S. population is Muslim. They're not coming to Oklahoma, dude. It's not happening. But nonetheless, in the realm of ideas, are they right that we shouldn't be governed by Sharia law? Of course, that's the biggest no-brainer ever. But what's so frustrating about them is then they turn around and they're like, can we squeeze Jesus into the science class? I really want creationism and or intelligent design to be right alongside evolution. And I really want prayer in school. And I really want my religious values forced via the government. And you're just fucking complete and utter hypocrites. I don't want your Narnia voodoo mythological nonsense. I don't want their Narnia voodoo mythological nonsense. You say one is fine, the other's not, because the Quran is from the other, whereas the Christian, the Bible, that's our voodoo nonsense. So I want to force that down your throat. But goddamn, get that Quran away from me. Irrational, dogmatic religious beliefs, they don't belong in government. Unless there are religious, dogmatic, irrational beliefs. They belong in government. No, they don't. They don't in either case. And in case any of you were wondering, people looked into this, and when you count up the violent passages in the Bible, because you heard them say, what kind of tenets are they swearing on here if they put their hand on the Quran? Violence. Goodness gracious. The number of violent passages in the Bible, 842. The number of violent passages in the Quran, 333. Now, don't make the mistake of just declaring, the Bible's worse. There's a difference here in terms of the size of the books as well. So the Quran is much shorter. So actually, as a percentage, there are more violent verses in the Quran. But as a raw number, there are more violent verses in the Bible. And let's face it, I mean, in both religions, so in the Quran, you have an emphasis on charity, you have it's anti-racism, you have the idea of no compulsion in religion, so you could cherry pick good parts and ignore the bad parts, like with any religion. In the Bible, Jesus is a pacifist and a hippie, and he's a Marxist before Marxism existed, and he said don't judge and all that stuff. So you could cherry pick the good parts of that too. But in both cases, you have books that have hundreds of overtly, brazenly, blatantly violent passages. And these jackasses have a problem with one, but not the other. No, I have a problem with both.